It's a bit of a damp Monday morning, but I'm back in the workshop, and today I'm just going to do a little bit of a focus on some feather detailing on some owls I'm working on. So this is the sculpture I'm working on at the moment. I've got two owls, two tawny owls, one with his wings spread a bit, perched on top, and another one just perched on the side. I've already marked out the feather groupings already, just sort of with the rough cut, so we've got sort of flight feathers here and the shoulders all up here. So these are the groups of feathers. If we look on the sort of reference picture of a tawny owl, you can see you've got the across the back there like almost like a V shape, and a little bit across the shoulders, and then sets of flight feathers, primary flight feathers there. So we're going to try and detail all these up. So what I've done is, as I say, marked them out in the groups. Same with the one on top there. You can see I've got just guides to where the groups of feathers go to. And I'm not going to be too tight on the detail. We just kind of get a nice feel for how they flow by looking at the pictures. You can see on the sort of flight, it's just a little bit more spread. You can see how all the groups work out. So, as I always do, using my Still MSA 220, one of them for detailing, with a carving bar. It's a battery saw, so nice and quiet and easy to use, really. We'll be just using the very tip of the bar here, just very fine at quite a steep angle, just to sort of very flat against the work, to just pick out the feather details. Always keep these fairly loose, otherwise this chain will overheat, the bar will overheat, and it'll jam up and damage the tip. Right, let's get on it. Right, so we're going to start working on the feather detail here. I don't normally draw this out, but you can draw this out just to give yourself a guide if you want to. So you're going to have the feathers across the back, quite sort of random really, just these little loops like that. I'm not going to stick to this exactly, but this is just roughly what you're aiming for. If you look back at the photo of the bird, you can kind of see the pattern that's going to develop to that. So that'll help you if you're not sure where to put the details in. Just look at the photo and just draw them in first. So I've done hundreds of owls, so I don't tend to do that now. I know where I'm going. In terms of using the saw, put the gloves back on. So if we're doing these cuts, we're literally just kissing the wood just very gently. Now practice this on another piece before you do it on your main piece, and just so you can get a feel for how the detail works, and then and how it cuts. You don't want to go very heavy into this. It's a really light touch. So let's give it a go. You can see I'm just really gently touching this. There's really got to keep control of the tip, and you shouldn't get any kickback because you're not touching the wood hard enough. It's just a very light touch, and just gently draw the tip of the saw along the line you're trying to create. You can keep adjusting these edges if you're not happy with them. And we're going to go over these with a finer die grinder tool and a burr later on, just to tidy up the edges. But you can see you can get quite good detail with the saw, and it just saves a lot of time doing it with the saw to start with. So we'll crack on and get this all detailed up, and then I'll show you the next stage of sort of finishing the feather details and refining them and making them look nice and tight. quick tip: when you're doing these long lines of flight feathers down here, there's a long straight line. Don't try and do the whole straight line in one cut. Just drag it a little bit at a time. I'll show you what I mean. If you try and, I mean, you can do it, but you have to keep this all incredibly steady. And just variations in the grain of the wood will throw the tip off, and it won't be exactly as you want it. So just draw it a little bit at a time. So I'll show you what I mean. See how that works? It just gives you a nice neat line, and you're just drawing it into your line all the time. It just makes it easier to follow rather than trying to do one straight cut, which can throw you off balance with the saw. And as I say, variations in the grain of the wood can throw the tip out, so it's a lot easier just to draw it a little bit at a time. Okay, so we've got the feather details just roughly cut on the perch dowel. Now you can see that. It's picking that up. Now we're going to do the same on the owl with the wing spread. Basically the same feather patterns, but just obviously spread out a little bit more. So we'll just start on the back here, the same as we did there. Do the shoulder ones in the same style there, and then all the flight feathers down here. And tail there, all the flight feathers there. Just a lot more longer sort of straight cuts on this one. Okay, so both birds have got the feather details cut now with the chainsaw. So that's about as far as I go with the saw on that. So they've both got everything's marked out nicely now. Yeah, I've done basic face details on them as well, and cut out. You can't really see it there. Sort of cut out the claws. There you go. Cut out the claw details as well. So there's all that to tidy up now. So next stage on the feathers, I'm going to be using my my little rotary tool. So yeah, cheap little work zone one. I've got a couple of these, very handy little thing. And we're using the, if I can get focus there, I think that's a coarse green. I think that's coarse saber tooth. Come on, focus. Focus. There we go. Coarse saber tooth flame burr, narrow one. And we're just going to use that to really sort of tighten up these feather details and just sort of get in here and just get the round the bottom of the feathers sort of nice and tight. It's quite quick and easy to do, you'll see. It's just easier with a smaller tool. We can just get everything looking a little bit tidier. So I'll crack on with that and you can see how that works. So all we're doing here is we're just literally tightening up the feather details. Just see whether just getting a nicer, rounder finish in the bottom here. not pushing too hard, just gently letting it do its thing. This is Western red cedar, a little bit wet wood as well, and I'll probably have to give that a brush off every now and then with a little wire brush, just because those coarse bits will clog up a little bit. It's just, it is what it is. As soon as it clogs, it stops cutting, so you just have to clean it little and often. And we're just going to work our way around the feathers, just tighten them up, make them look a bit nicer until I'm happy with them. And there's one more stage after that, just sanding with a power file, but this is just to get the shape defined. Here we go. So you can see already we've just neatened up the edge of the feathers, much nicer and rounder, and just means we can get the details in a bit tighter. And you don't have to go this fine. This is just how I do it. It's how I like it to look. I like the feathers to be a bit sort of ruffled and not perfect as well. No, nothing in nature is perfect, and birds are constantly readjusting their feathers to make them, put them in the right places. So you don't want it too perfect, otherwise that doesn't look right in my mind. So we're just literally working our way around getting this to look tidy. You can see that tip's already starting to clog a bit, so we'll just give that a quick wire brush off, and then switch to time lapse and just finish this all off. Quick brush off there. Just unclog it so it cuts a bit nicer. Right, so we've just nipped around all the feather details with a rotary tool and the saber-tooth burr just to sort of round up the ends of the feathers a bit, make them look a bit nicer. Also just added start to add a bit of face detail on both of them now, so the feathers are much more defined and ready for just a sort of a light sand over, just to tidy everything up, because this Western Red Cedar is quite a fluffy finish, so we just want to get rid of that fluffiness really. And to do that, we're just going to use a mini belt sander, power file, finger sander, whatever you want to call it. This is a Makita one. It's just a nice thin belt sander, and it just enables us to sort of just run along the feathers just gently and just sand them up and smooth them up and make everything look tidy. So we'll get on with that now. Right, so it's just a very light touch along the feathers, just to take the roughness off and just give them a bit more definition. I'm using a 60 grit. To be honest, I don't use anything else, so I pretty much use that for everything. So excuse me, that. So we'll just give these a gentle brush along, and I'll just go over the whole bird with the finger sander now, just to refine the shape and just nip out any bits I'm not happy with. It's just playing with it now, just to get it to the point where I'm happy with the look of it. See the difference there between there and there. It's just a nicer finish, to nicer look. And we'll just continue and work our way around all the feathers on the body, and we'll probably just put some lines in the head, some feather lines in the head, just to give it more of a natural look. And yeah, work our way around until we're happy with how it looks. Don't worry if you knock out some of the details with this. You know, it's not the most delicate tool really, and we can always just nip around with the finer bit on the rotary tool and just tidy things up if necessary. But I don't ever really think that is. It's just unless you have a nasty slip and really mess something up, but you can just give a nice sort of feathery look with this. We're on the finishing straight now really. Both birds are sanded up. Not a lot left to do on them. I'll give them a scorch over with a blowtorch just to bring out the feather detail and burn their eyes in properly, and the claws as well. It's still a little bit on the fluffy side, but that's just the way it is with the redwood. So scorching it will finish that off. We'll go over the whole thing with the blowtorch, just take the fluffiness off the trunk as well, and detail that up properly. So I've done some of it, but I've still got to finish it off. But just before I scorch over the owls, I'm just going to go over them with a it's just a 3M, I think it's a nylon bristle brush, which it's just like a flap sander but a bit smaller, and we'll just go over that very quickly, just clean out the details, and that'll just clean up the finish a bit before we give it a burn over. Yeah, so I'll get that done, and then we'll finish it over with a blowtorch. So burn the eye detail and the claw detail in, and it's just all finishing up now really. So I've just got the 3M bristle brush on my drill, and we'll just give us a quick go over. Lot better. We'll do the same for the top one, and then we'll be just giving it a bit of a blowtorch over once we've done the top one as well. This will really bring it to life now. We're just going to give it a blow over with a blowtorch, and that will really pick the feather details out. So really bring it to life. Two little tawny owls, all done and dusted. Feather details come out quite nicely. There's the second one, the perched one. And the back of him. See how the scorching just literally just picks out the detail really nicely. Just works well with feathers. Quite a pretty little owl sitting there. That's the whole thing all done.